Oh, ha! Totally meant to mute myself on OBS. I didn't. I'm a silly bean. But hello. Welcome to our book club stream. Let me just turn our ambient music down here. Hopefully that's a good volume. If it's not and you need it turned down while we're chatting, y'all can just let me know. And let's jump into it. Hello. We're ready to go. Oh, as soon as I do that, my cat opens the door and just like jump scares me a little bit.
Love that.
Bailey, do you want to say hi? No. Oh, she ran away before I could grab her. Okay. Nope. She fast one. Well, no Bailey today, but instead of a Bailey, one better, we have Marjorie, aka Creative Desires. Been here, joined us for book club before. Always a good time when you join me, and I always enjoy our chats. And I'm also extra grateful because right now in book club, a lot of us are just like insanely busy, and our reading backlogs are just bigger than ever. Like not just for the January read, like I'm trying to plan out the one we're currently reading for February, which I haven't started yet. And and everyone's like, I've gotten this many arcs, and I'm so behind in life, and I'm like, yo, I get it. That's all of us.
Yeah, well, what was funny too is like when we were messaging, I got an email that I got an arc that I was really hoping I get, and I got it, and I was like, I gotta finish everything else I'm reading so I can get to this arc. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I'm currently scrambling to finish the book I'm on because I just got 2 arcs as well. One of them, it doesn't come out until March, and they didn't say you have to finish them and post your review before the book comes out, but I feel like if you can do it before or around the release, that's the most beneficial to them, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to do that. So one of them isn't until like mid-March, which is fine, but one of them's like February 17th, and I'm like, well, shit. So I'm gonna have to scramble.
Well, like, I'm kind of new to using NetGalley as well. So it's like, I'm like, okay, if I don't hear back, because I have some that I request, and if I don't hear back, I have to take off because like, it can like, it goes into your rejected stuff.
Yeah.
And then it lowers your score and everything. And I was like,
ugh. No, I have an account on NetGalley, but I don't think I've requested anything yet or use it from that. Sounds scary. What was the arc you got that you're excited for? Before we jump into the book we're here to actually talk about, just because I'm curious.
Let me pull up my email. where did it go? Oh, I found it. Haha. Cemetery Boys Espiritu is coming out this year. It's the sequel to Cemetery Boys. And the one fun fact about this is that when the Pride Guild got started in the Unity Guilds, that first year there was a book club that went through all the other guilds, but the Pride Guild started it, and we started the book club with Cemetery of Boys.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
Love
I'm
it.
so excited that I got this arc, because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because one of the two that I got is for like a short like novella, so I could definitely finish it quickly. Of course, that's the one due in March. But I think it's because of reading Six of Crows for this book club that I got that arc, because it was after I posted about Six of Crows that then I just got the email being like, hey, would you like to receive a copy of this book in exchange for a review? Because they use Six of Crows as one of their references or like touchstones for the book. So I was like, oh, I see. I realized I forgot to put on my lip gloss. I'm gonna do that hella fast, and then we're good to go.
So fun fact for those who are watching, I didn't finish fully. I fell asleep last night while reading.
Happens to the best of us.
But I do know stuff. Because ironically, I actually have the 3 original, like what starts the
Grishaverse books, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this one isn't the right one, and I'm like third into it, by the way. So I was like, I'm on hold right now, so I'll finish. So
yeah.
It's like,
I definitely got the order wrong, and I thought this duology came before the Grishaverse books, and then while reading these, they just mentioned characters, the first one, and basically the ending of I'm like, oh, well, never mind, now I guess I know how those end.
Well, then, like, I was like, okay, I know I've seen, like, the Netflix stills.
Same.
I need to see, like, artists, like, capture of the characters.
Oh,
so...
I could help you with that, because my copy is one of the Owl Crate special editions, and it has really gorgeous art at one point that shows all the characters. Hold on. Here we go. So this is artist-approved rendition of the characters.
Yes!
So if my camera will be good. There we go. It focused. So it's clear who's Inej and who's Matthias. I think, and who's Kaz, because Kaz, if the glare on my would help at all. The one on the end of the cane, and then Jesper. So the one in the middle is, all of a sudden the name is blanking. The one that Jesper is gay for. Wyland? Wyland? Yeah, there we go. And yeah, so there you go. If I can get closer, but someone's face is covered by glare no matter what I do. There we go. That's a bit better.
Nina's next to Mathis and Inej. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's character approved art.
Does the Owl Crate one also have the map that they draw too?
It does.
See,
and here's in the reversible dust jacket. There's some other, but it's not as good because it's like from the side, but you don't really get to see them. But some more art.
Because I had to also find the map too, because I was like, okay, I'm kind of understanding how it's drawn, but I need to see a visual, and so I was like googling Six of Crows map.
Here's the drawn. It has like world map, and then it has their like drawn map.
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I bought the second one as well from this set, and honestly, there's one art. This one has 2 insert like art moments in the book, and one of them just like had me fucking like kicking my little feet and squealing. I just gotta find it. Why do I keep finding? No, I want the other one.
You just passed it.
No, there's 2. That's why. Here we go.
Oh.
Of just the yearning in this picture. It just brings me joy. It brings me so much joy. Anyway, so yes, we're here to talk about not both books, just Six of Crows. But I feel like we'll inevitably end up. I'm gonna do my best because I read them right back to back, and I might end up kind of conflating some of the events. I'm gonna try my best not to.
I am definitely going to be reading the sequel to it.
The sequel even better than the first one, in my opinion.
I have to figure out where I'm gonna fit it in as well, because I also am still trying to finish the Game Changer books too.
Yep. Well, these are also like over a decade old at this point, so it's not like you have to worry about like big trendy spoilers on the internet or anything, or in Book Talk world, because they're. I mean, you do, because people at the same time aren't precious about spoilers because they're not a new series, but it also means they're not like in the zeitgeist right now and like being heavily discussed.
I would also say too, because like, so I kind of have started shifting my creation to my socials are more bookish while I still stream. So I have like, I'm not changing my Instagram up because that's just too complicated.
It's too complicated.
TikTok, you need 2 accounts if you are going very vastly different in your niches, unfortunately. Yeah. So I started doing that and posting like reviews. I'm really behind on getting things like scheduled and finished because I've also been under the weather.
Right.
So it hasn't been that great, but I'm also like, oh my gosh, I try very hard to not actually have book talk or bookstagram reels and stuff very hard on my feeds.
Yeah.
Because even though I do like supporting all the other creators too, and I see them, I do like watch and I'll like, especially if like it's something I've read. But if it's something I want to read, I like,
yeah,
I'm out because I don't want to
risk it. Don't want to risk it. So out of curiosity, also so I can avoid, because even if you have a vague idea of how it ends, avoid specific spoilers. So cause you never finished it. Where did you get to in Six of Crows?
So I want to say between 50-60%. That's great. But I do know like the ending and stuff that like kind of starts happening. So because I was like, let me just look up a synopsis.
Okay.
Of stuff real fast. Because in a way, is it spoiling myself? Yes. But I'm one of those that if y'all have seen me on these discussions, I have a vague idea of like what's going to happen. And a lot of my theories got proven right. Yeah. By reading that, and I went, okay, cool, I'm right. Now I can't wait to see when this happens.
I was the
really
opposite.
Excited.
Reading this book, I just felt like it was constantly just, to me, it was like, this is the fantasy book version of like watching an Ocean's 11 movie or watching White Collar, which is one of my favorite TV shows. Like and I love it's like, we're not going to bother showing the planning phase or telling you what's going to happen. We're just going to jump into the plans happening. And then you find out like at the moment it feels like chaos and you find out it was all perfectly planned chaos. And this is exactly what was supposed to happen. And then when there's real chaos, they still pivot and figure it out. And it was so good.
I think that also plays into Kaz as a person. He's like Batman. He had to pivot to, all these contingency plans that have been worked on for the what if this happens, just in case. Yep. And he doesn't share them because he doesn't trust anyone, especially after what happened to him and his brother. Yep. And then when, we find out, like, I know who the coffee shop person is. I know who that identity really is.
You know who they are, yep.
Yeah. So, it makes sense why it sometimes takes a turn and a twist at times when you're like expecting something to happen and then something else happens. Yeah. Because like the one that like had me go like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, but I should have expected it was when they were leaving in the boats. Yeah. That fight happened. Right. And I love that scene. That's like one of my favorite scenes so far.
Oh, so good. So good. I will say, my first immediate thought of this book when finishing it, and I then looked up the release dates, I was like, when did Critical Role start and when this book comes out? Because every single main character has Liam O'Brien level tragic rip your heart out backstories. Like, there's not a single person who had an even half. Well, actually, I guess it's kind of a lot. Like, the closest is Jesper. Jesper probably has the closest thing to a like normal and semi-happy child. Like, yeah, his mom died, and that's very sad, but that's compared to everyone else. That is so chill compared to every other character.
He's like, well, the reason why like I need this money is I asked my dad for a loan, and he's like literally the only one who like still has like a home and stuff. He just has a gambling problem.
He has a home. He has family. He just has an addiction and undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah. So like, it's just the craziness that comes from everyone's backstories. And, and I'm kind of glad that, like, I'm reading the books now before I actually watch the 2 seasons on Netflix, because the Netflix series intertwines the backstories you find in Six of Crows into the TV show. Yeah. Because, like, Mathis and Nina, their storyline is going on during the show at the same time as
it's happening.
Like, 3 books. And I was like, I'm glad I want to read everything before I watch now.
See, I watched the Netflix show, but a long time ago, and while reading this, like, I still didn't clock until the second book that these happen after, because it shows how much I remember. But part of it's the Netflix show. I'm not gonna lie, I was just so goddamn honed in on on Alina and Darkling. That's who I was there for. That's what I cared about the most. So, and I still loved like Kaz and Inej and Jesper that we got to see in the show, but they were like secondary. I completely forgot that we were seeing what we get as Nina's backstory in this happen in real time. And because, again, I'd forgotten all that while watching the show, and only in book 2, when Inej is praying and, like, begging the saints, like, oh, I'm in a sticky situation, like, saints, protect me, and she says, like, Santa Alina. Everyone's like, does Alina Starkov really deserve to be, like, a saint? She was only this. And she's like, well, she did this. And I was like, wait a minute. Alina, and then I had the, like, the pieces falling together in my brain of, wait a minute, this is after those books. I did this wrong. But it still was a great reading experience, and I could probably still go back and read the original Grishaverse trilogy and deeply enjoy it, knowing, just because I know where it's going. Because the strength, other than just like a gorgeous writing style period, the biggest strength in these books were the characters, and I don't see that changing in the other books. Oh, really? That's too bad. You're gonna have to call me later. My phone's ringing, and of course it's the work call I've been waiting for fucking forever, but that's too damn bad. I waited forever. They had plenty of time. They can leave a voicemail. Anyway. But yeah, like, you know, it is wild how much we're one-upping the level of tragic backstory when we have 2 characters who were, like, stolen from their families and then put into slavery, and that's not the most upsetting, like, that's not the most tragic backstories of anyone. Yeah. Because for me, I was saying, in your opinion, for me, Kaz's is the one that just, like, gets me the most, because I just cannot even imagine the trauma of how he survived, like, going too deep, how he got back to shore rather than drowning, and just, like, thinking of that, and thinking of the hours that he had to endure, and how he did it, and then also just because it's gone into so in detail, particularly in book 2, of how him trying to then overcome that trauma and failing, and then just kind of accepting, well, this is how I'm gonna live my life with this trauma because I can't find a way through it. Oh, it was just, every time that we talked about it, I wanted to just reach through the pages and give him a goddamn hug, but also not, because he'd hate that. He'd hate it viscerally. Which one of the characters, which backstory got you the most, or had you the most, like, from what you've learned so far, or what you've read about, since you haven't finished it yet? Which one tugs at you the most of the core characters?
Man, I feel like it's almost all of them, to be honest, because they all, like, have... I guess, like, so far, Jesper? Is it Jesper or is it Jasper?
That's, I think it's Jesper. Jesper.
Yeah, it's Jesper.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to his besides what he's mentioned about, you know, his gambling addiction and stuff. But I kind of feel like everyone's is tragic.
Yeah.
So far, since I don't know about Jesper.
They are. Every one of them.
And I think the one that makes me the saddest, because TDLR, I spoiled myself for book 2, but Mathis, I'm going to cry heavily, I think.
Oh, I did. Yeah, without going into detail, if you want to read these books, also because it's technically book 2, which is Crooked Kingdom, not Six of Crows. But yeah, be prepared to cry if you're a crier, if books get you like that.
And there were, like, times too, like, as I'm reading, I was, like, tearing up too, especially, like, with Kaz, and Nina, especially so far. But, like, I think for me, I end up liking everyone. I love tragic backstories because a lot of times tragic backstories are used to build up a character into who they are and who they could be and kind of stuff. So I can't really say I have a favorite right now.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, it would be it's not even like favorite seems like the wrong word because that's seems so heartless to say for describe these awful things that happen to these literal children, because the thing to remember is like they are teenagers. They are teenagers. But after, it's a close tie with Kaz is probably Inej, just because obviously for so many like women and female identifying people, you're gonna resonate with a story that involves any sort of like assault or like sexual violence because of just the statistics of being a woman. 1 in 3 women will be assaulted in their lifetime. Yay, the world we live in. So that one also is pretty hard not to just like get you. but also it's such a my favorite thing about Inej is that backstory is both made her, she is simultaneously like the badass kind of character where it's like my tragedy is not gonna break me, but at the same time it also does, like there are the moments where she can only be a badass for so long and the trauma and the vulnerability break through the facade she's built for herself and this life she's built for herself. And I love that we get to see both, because so often in lesser written YA novels, it's almost like they have to be one or the other. They have to be like the eternal victim or the badass perfect survivor, and they can't be both, which almost everyone is both. Like it's very hard in life to go through something like what they go through and then just come out the other side and have the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger mentality 24/7, you know?
Exactly. And I think too, like, sorry about my bird.
No, good. All good.
But too, also, I do like how the like characters, almost all of them come from different nations.
Yep.
Too, and there is discrimination against people in certain nations. Like Nina's looked down upon by Mathis because she has powers, and his kind hunts them. And then you got Nesh, who is a traveler, and she gets sold because of her skin color and everything too.
Yep.
So there is a lot of depth that happens that goes with especially the female characters too. I think the one thing I do like is that it's not like the male characters have just as an engaging backstory as the female characters do. And
100%.
Usually that's rare to find in a YA book or even in a fantasy book as well.
Yeah.
It's hard to find where there's a balance between both.
And also, this book feels like a true ensemble cast. Like, to me, Kaz only just edges out as, like, if we pick one, it's like, if you had to pick one who is the core protagonist, okay, it's Kaz. But the rest of their little gang, like, it is such a strong ensemble cast. It feels like the story would fall apart if you took away any one of them, not just, the main character, so to speak.
Yeah, well, and I think, too, like, if you read the first 3 books of the series before you get to this duology, it's only told by Alina, I think, in those first 3. So that's just a standalone POV the entire time. This series, it's five
POVs, I think.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Maybe
because
more.
I do like when there's multiple.
Maybe
you could call it 6.
Yeah, because I think there's one we just get. Yeah.
From where we start and everything, and then I know there's another duology. I think right after this series.
Oh, I did not know. Look it up.
Wait. Oh, I don't have my book. Let me look it up real fast.
Yeah. The thing about the switching POVs, I also thought that this book did really well. Some readers really struggle with that. Some people will not read or just are heavily less enjoy significantly less books that do the multiple POV switching, and fantasy does it a lot because especially high fantasy, because it usually does have such large casts of characters, and to make this epic high stakes world altering plot lines, they need to span all these different nations and characters and groups, and sometimes it can get very confusing. This one, the POV switching, I found was so fluid. It's because it would switch POVs, but chronologically we never had any time jumps, or it was this, now we're switching to something that was happening while what you just read about. And I'm not someone who's normally bothered either way. I can do multiple POVs, I can do time jumping, I can do whatever, but I know for people that are, I feel like this would be a book with multiple POVs where that wouldn't phase you, because it felt very, very fluid and so easy to track the action and track what was happening and track continuity and the various plot lines going on.
Okay, there is another duology after these 2.
Shit,
There's
I gotta read it.
Star and Rule of Wolves. These follow. I don't know if there are multiple settings. These came out in 2019. Was the first one, and it follows Zoya and Nikolai.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So.
Interesting. I have to put those on the ever-expanding TBR.
The ever-expanding TBR. I don't so Barnes and Noble's open by me.
Danger.
Danger, yeah. So I have this I need to read. This is
Also on my list. Yep.
YA ace romance, which excites me. And then even though I have them on Kindle, I had to get a physical because Brand New Store had like basically all the books.
I just got a physical copy of that because my husband has just gotten back into reading, and he's read almost as much as me this year already because he picked up the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book and he's loving it and like burning through the series. And so we went to the our version of Barnes & Noble in Canada, which is Indigo, and to pick up the next book. And the one day he chose to go pick it up, they had a promotion where if you buy any book, you get a spicy romance for $10. And one of the 5 spicy romance options that you could reply that to was Heated Rivalry. And I was like, yoink! So I now have a physical copy of that too that I got for $10. Winning. Have not watched the show or read it yet, but plan to do both eventually.
You should see if anyone in the club wants to read it, the, like Game Changers read and stuff. And
hell yeah.
pick,
Well,
like,
I know my husband's a teacher,
months.
right? And the teachers at his school, some of the other female intermediate teachers, are now all reading it. They're like, "Has your wife read this? Is she gonna read it? Does she want to talk about it?" It's so funny.
That's so funny.
But yeah, maybe I'll post about it in the Discord, and we'll see. Who knows? Back to other book. And like I said, my copy looks different because Owl.
Yeah, and I'm using my Kindle because it is on Kindle Unlimited.
It is
for those who want to read it.
If you want to not spend money. The back of the dust jacket in mine has the saying and the greeting /saying /epitaph like of the Dregs crew. The "No mourners, no funerals" quote. Mm-hmm. That, of course, is a beloved like tagline across the series. To me, I find that so sad because my first interpretation of it is like that they see themselves as so dispensable, but also so risky that it's like it's a given that we're gonna die young, and then it's not so much like you could look at it two ways. You could either look at it as like I lived life on my terms, so I don't want to be mourned for like going out the way I did, which is a more positive, or it's literally like I don't feel good enough to warrant mourning or a funeral. Like I just can't imagine thinking and not wanting because funerals are not for the dead. Funerals are for the living. Funerals are to help your loved ones process their grief and stuff. Well, and to think that you don't merit that or that they don't deserve that for your passing, I find it such a sad like phrase personally.
I think too because like most of the crows, all they really do interact with is Kaz. He's basically the second in charge of the Dregs, and he, we've already discussed how he has different contingency plans. So you never know what he's going to say or do, but he's so internal with his feelings and emotions with everyone, because like to bring up like the scene where they're fixing to leave to start this journey to the Ice Palace or Ice Court. I forget the name.
Both are true. I think Ice Court is the name, but it is an Ice Palace also, like physically.
Yeah. So they've already had someone betray them when we like kind of start the novel out, and Kaz is already going, I wonder who else is going to betray us. We already have one, and we get to where they're fixing to go to the boat. It explodes because one of the gang that they've already fought with,
the gang that they've already pissed off.
they've hired people from other gangs and everything. So there's this huge fight that breaks out, and Inej gets injured. It's like life-threatening too. And Kaz is freaking out. He's not showing it. And all she says before she passes out from blood loss is, say you're sorry, because he'd already said something that was really hurtful to her. It was basically like, oh, you're just expandable. I can get rid of you and find someone else. And this isn't the first person he's said this to as well.
Yeah.
And the entire time while Nina is working on saving Inej, he's freaking out internally and everything. Yeah. And then even after she's healed and they're like getting closer to where they need to land, he's still like, he's awkward about it when he approaches her.
Yeah.
He still doesn't say what he wants to say because
Mm-hmm.
he can't trust anyone due to that trauma of what
Yep.
happened to him and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only assume that it gets a little bit better by the time we're
It,
almost over the duology.
the second book and the progression of their relationship. Oh, so good. I was in my feels for so many reasons, and they have like the arc and the end and the resolution that they go on for both of them is so good, but also because it doesn't get wrapped up nicely with a perfect little bow, but it does find like resolution, and I think the author did such a great job at again being like, not everything gets to end perfectly, even if you technically get everything you want, you know? Like,
I wouldn't say if you're looking for a happy ever after, not really does this series have that. It's, are there happy things that happen at the end? Oh, absolutely. But like at the same time, I wouldn't call this the HEA.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Of all the relationships in the book, it could be like platonic friendships, it could be the burgeoning romantic, because the first book sees the developing of a lot of romantic relationships, and they only really fully come to fruition or find resolution in book 2. So, but of how far you got or what you read, which one, whether friend, like platonic or romantic, is your favorite, probably like character relationship?
I'm really excited, and I already know this because of me having to look stuff up when I was looking for their faces, is Jesper and Waylon. I can't wait for that one. I am a huge sucker. So let me put it this way. For those who don't know, I am queer, and I love queer romances, especially because we don't see a lot of happy endings in queer romances unless they're written for us. You know, like the movies that show them, like for example, Brokeback Mountain. That's so tragic, and I'm so tired of media portraying that every queer kind of relationship under the umbrella of LGBTQIA+ needs to have a tragic ending, and that's just not true.
Yeah, there's a whole, literally the name for the trope, bury your gays in media, because of the propensity for queer relationships to end in tragedy.
Yeah, so it's really, I love reading queer novels, or like even such as this, where it has multiple point of views, but you still have, you know, this queer couple that end up together and everything. So I'm really excited for that. You know, that's actually what got me into hockey romance, actually, is Kate.
That's so funny.
As Laura and I know, Kate is who's the owner of Cosmic Candles that we're ambassadors for. Kate got me into
my candle shop.
hockey romances through gosh, what's the Jacksonville series, which is like the pucking around and all that.
Yeah.
Because I went to the book warehouse that she's at the first weekend of every month, and one of the owners was like, "Hey, here you go," and gave her like a pristine copy of the first book.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, should I like check that out? And she goes, "You like poly romances, right?" And I said, "Absolutely, yeah." And she goes, "You should read it." I devoured everything off Kindle Unlimited in a week.
Nice.
So,
yeah, my favorite part about the Jesper Wyland romance as well is it happened so subtly. It wasn't like we're doing all these big flags, point out, highlight, dramatic moment of like, look at this gay couple, but it just kind of like happened amidst everything else. It was so natural that neither of the characters felt the need to then draw attention to it or have a big discussion like, wait, you're queer? Oh, I'm queer. And again, like, there are some novels there's a place for that, because a lot of people have trouble communicating, like coming out to people that they trust or that they love sometimes, and there's a place for that kind of portrayal. But also I think we need more books that depict queer relationships like just as typical and with the exact same like level of attention and conversation as like the straight relationships and the hetero relationships in the book, because the point is that we should get to a place in life where it's not some big different other thing, it's just a different flavor of the same thing that we all experience, right? Which is love.
And it's also like, you know, when they first start out through getting prepared for the journey. And Kaz goes, oh yeah, so Waylon's actually the son. And then, Jesper's upset. Jesper doesn't trust this guy because he hasn't been around for long. And then here's Kaz going, yeah, you two are going to be together, paired up to do stuff and everything. Jesper, watch after him, and everything too. So there's like this kind of, I wouldn't say it's hate, it's distrust that Jesper has at the start of the relationship. And even Waylon himself is kind of like unease around everyone too, because he's also, he's hiding his own secret from them too as well.
To me, I also, once you read book 2, there's even more to that, because you find out that Jesper has known Waylon since before this book. Like, Jesper and him crossed paths before. And I think, as Kaz is so perceptive, I think Kaz clocked that even before Jesper did, that there might be like a little sparky spark there. And I think that was part of why he paired them together. Because, again, he, for his own reasons, isn't sure that he's ever gonna like successfully be able to navigate a romantic relationship and whatnot, but he wants others to have that. He wants others to experience what he feels like he can't, for reasons that are spoilers and we can't exactly say. But so my headcanon is that Kaz picked up on the chemistry there before they did. And chemistry, pun intended, given where Jesper first met Waylon, which you find out in book 2. But yeah, there, because I remember when it happened, it literally was like during like the heist. They're in the ice palace and they're in a rather tense situation. And Jesper just literally has like almost a throwaway line trying to diffuse tension to Waylon. But in that throwaway line, he's admitting feelings. And it's just so good. And I literally, again, I did the thing where I was on the couch and I was like, yeah, like kicking the feet and the squealing. And I was like, they're gay, the gays. And I was so excited. Brought me joy.
I also want what's really funny is the way I've been reading lately is I'm usually here at my desk and I'm like in my cozy blanket that's behind me because my cat lays on it. Y'all are gonna laugh. So I was playing Hardcore Rivals. Like, I'm in competitive. I got up into platinum. I'm back in gold, unfortunately. But what I do is I play a couple matches and then I stop and read like 5 chapters.
just to decompress. And
yes. And it's been working great too. Because I also I almost thought about listening to the audiobook while I was playing. But I have this problem where I have a headcanon for the voices. And if I hear the audiobook, I might not like those voices.
That's fair.
So
I might really quickly resend you a captions link because for some reason, no, see, there we go. See, then it appeared again. I don't know why. Captions, you're being silly. Whatever.
Yeah, it did this to me before when I was using it for something else.
So captions users, if occasionally it just doesn't show things for Marjorie, I don't know why, because they're still working like it's working now. Oh well.
I don't know.
Free technology. I mean, you get what you pay for, right? Like, it's a free service, so. Cannot complain. Maybe I should start doing all of these in future if the guests are open to it via Zoom and just capture the Zoom captions like I did for the author Q&A, because Zoom's pretty reliable. And I have the paid, because I use Zoom for work, so I have the fancy paid membership and whatnot. Curses. Despite hating it with every fiber of my being, but hey, what have you. I'm trying to think. I was gonna say what the most impressive part of the actual heist is, but that's further than where we got, so I don't want to ruin any of the details.
I do know, because like I said, I spoiled stuff for myself because I was like, there's no way, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through. Let me just look at stuff. I would say the one thing that shocks me during the heist is when Kaz saves Pekka Roland.
Right? That blew my mind. Because they play it off for a while. Spoilers for anyone if you care. But again, this book's been out for a while. Just go read it. So Kaz comes across one of his adversaries, like one of his ultimate nemeses, in this prison, has a chance to off him, and then it cuts to black, and you see him reunite with the group covered in blood, and he's like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it, guys. It's fine. Move on. So the author fully lets you believe, like, he has, and part of me is like, because they didn't show it, again, if we don't see the death on screen or on page, like, so I knew he didn't, but I was like, but why though? Like, I thought something had gone wrong. I thought he had tried to, and he had been thwarted, or something like that. And then you find out, no, this man was letting him go. And then when you find out, like, the further, especially in book 2, and the way this book ends, you find out how much harder that would be than even we knew in the moment as the reader. Like, how much restraint that took on Kaz's part for future plans. Oh my god. I don't know if I would have had the strength in that position.
Like, I was like, you save and let go of the guy who basically ruined you and your brother's life? Hello?
And has given you, like, so much trauma that there might not even be enough therapy in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
so I was just like, hello? Are you okay? Like, what?
And it goes to show how well, because that's only, like, maybe 40% of the way in, 50%, or just after 50%, maybe. It's not.
Yeah, I would say it's about 60.
Okay, but it's
because to give context for people so they know where I'm at. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, just because I think it goes to show how well they built up the intelligence of Kaz.
The shipwreck. We get the part where I'm at is where we get Nina and Mathis's backstory and how, like, you know, she gets captured by the Druskelli, which are the people who hunt the Grisha,
yeah.
Grisha, because Druskelli see them as witches, and you know they need to be culled basically for having this magic that's not normal to them and everything. And then, like, you know, the Druskelli, like, their society you could consider backwards. They're a very traditional society too. Like, the women don't fight. They are at home being the home carers, the dutiful wife who always takes care of the home and hearth, while the men
wifing it up
are the ones, you know, doing the work and everything. Because even to the Druskelli, they operate kind of as a religious setting too. If you think about it, they operate almost as priests. I wouldn't say Catholicism, more maybe Eastern Orthodoxy, because they do get to be married. But there's a lot of tradition that you would see in, like, Orthodoxy Christianity and Catholicism, basically, too. And then I think the Druskelli is, if you had to look at the world, like our worldview, they would be like the Scandinavians are where they're where they would live, kind of, too, because of all the ice and stuff. So that was very interesting, and everything was finding out, like, that backstory, because basically too, with this scene, you know, Nina's having to help keep him alive as they're getting out of the shipwreck, because Mathis and his crew of Druskelli were bringing her and others to the Ice Palace to stand trial. But Grisha never really are declared innocent. They're always declared guilty during their trials.
Yeah.
And everything.
Now, I have a question, and after having read this, because I thought it sounded so strange even before I read the book, but now having read it, it absolutely blows my mind that this happened. So because this book just had its, like, 10th anniversary or something, like, recently, they were publishing, like, 10th anniversary editions, the dregs editions of the book, but there was a big controversy about these editions because there were unannounced edits in these editions, aging up all the characters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They turned them all from teenagers into, like, young adults in their 20s. And now reading this, I'm like, that wildly changes so much of the book, because so much of the way these characters go through life has to do with their youth, and their youth is commented on all the time in the book, and how, especially Kaz, and that's part of why he is such a feared and unique character, because he's developed this incredible reputation for absurd intelligence, but also absolute like threat control and like the borderline like demonic criminal. Some people like refer to him as a demon for this like and dirty hands and all these names, but he's 17, and to have done all that by 17, you have to be a particular kind of genius and a particular kind of ruthless. Like putting them all in their 20s, everything they do becomes far less impressive, but also which to me I'm like, okay, maybe they if you thought it's like, oh, it seemed a bit unrealistic before that these teenagers are such incredibly capable people, but the main thing is their psychology is drastically changed if you're in your 20s versus in your teens. Like your brain is wildly different, and I feel like it so negatively changes the book. And it's not like there's any like spicy elements in the book. They felt the need to age it up to make it our because there's no spice in this. There's romance, but it's not a spicy romance. So there's no need to age the characters, and I don't understand why they did it.
I don't understand. I will say likely like the Kindle, the KU version doesn't have the aged up stuff.
Yeah, my version
because
does not.
Because I remember exactly that Mathis is like looking at Kaz. He can't be more than like 16 or something, I think is what Mathis says. 16, 17. Because Mathis I think is 18.
Yeah, he's the oldest, Matthias, I think, of all of them. Yeah.
So that's why I remember that discussion happening. I remember seeing that.
I'm just trying to figure out what's the logic for it. Because also the fact that you're not going to publicize it. Like they didn't, it only was caught by readers. Like they weren't advertising that these changes were happening, which feels so strange and like so sketchy. And I just have no idea. I could get maybe why the publishing company wanted to, and maybe to be more in line with if they wanted to film it the way they filmed like Shadow and Bone. And it's easier if they're like in their 20s, but like I can't imagine the author signing off on that. And
I didn't read this series for spice. I read it for like dystopian fantasy.
I read it for heist. I read it because I love seeing people being smart and people being like fucking next level competent, like a savant at what they do. Genius Adept is just so freaking cool and borderline like attractive to watch. People who are just like watching an expert at their craft, no matter what it is enthralling, and reading about it is the same. So all of them, like Inej is peak at her athleticism, her sneaking, her dexterity, her stealth skills, her there's a word that I'm only thinking of a long phrase. My brain is mush and I can't think of the word, but either way, being incredible what she does. Kaz obviously at being a mastermind and just planning plans within plans within plans, and always having an answer for everything at that age, insane.
Like they just all have like their specialties and everything, and then seeing them have to come together in this like mismatch of like group of like I guess a ragtag group really, and having to work together, especially because they know Nina, they've never had to work with Nina this way. Jesper and Nej are used to working with Kaz, but they aren't used to working with Nina, even though they know who she is. Yeah. They don't know Mathis either, And then you add in Waylon to this group too, who has a vastly different, if you look at it, I think the one reason I really love Waylon the most too, I think if I had to pick a favorite would be him, is he's such an underdog.
Well, he's kind of like the self-insert for the reader because he's the least qualified to be there. Like, he has skills, but compared to the others, like he is at a different level than the rest of them. He's really there because, again, he is also Kaz's bargaining chip. He's there to be used against his father on paper.
Yeah, but because, he came from this really cushy, high up family basically from the city, who these people, the merchants, basically rule the city. And so Jesper, especially Ari, is kind of like Ari has this conception about Waylon. He's even he comments on it a lot too, and then you have Waylon who's not he's not sitting there going, if only you knew what it was really like, because I don't think you find out his backstory until the second book, really.
No, you don't get it until the second book. Like you get the TLDR in the first book. You get the my dad doesn't think I'm like a worthy son, so my dad like disowned me. Kind of thing. But it is so far beyond that, and you get the details in book 2. Because disowning is putting very lightly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The other thing, characters like with Waylon and Jesper, also why I love them together. There's a lot of really, really good, like neurodivergent and disability rep in these books without ever, again, overtly talking about it, without ever overtly labeling it. Like the author never says Jesper has ADHD or that Waylon is dyslexic, but we as readers absolutely can like read and understand that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's written about so well. And Waylon's dyslexia is also wild because his dad uses that and does it to me, a thing that is so cruel that I think his father like might even be worse than Pekka Rollins, might be the cruelest one in there to me, because he does something that's like there isn't even anyone to fully witness this. Like, this is cruelty you did just for yourself. Like, this just makes you hee hee ha ha at night going to bed because Waylon cannot read due to his severity of his dyslexia.
His father is
writing him letters that he implies are letters being like, I want you to come home, I miss you. But the letters actually say, you fucking piece of shit, you're trash, you're worthless, I hate you. But like much more eloquent than that. But he's literally just writing the most despicable things about how much he hates his son and how useless he is and how little value he has, just because he can't read it and he'll never know, while telling him, oh, if you could read this letter, you would know how much I actually do care about you, which is, it's not wrong, but it's implying. I'm like, that is so diabolically malicious, and no one will know. Like, if Kaz never read those letters, you're someone, like, only you know this. That was cruelty just for you. Like, that is wild.
Like, I think it's also interesting to, when you think about it, this might be going a little bit spoilery with the second book, so I apologize here.
Warning.
So if you don't want to get spoiled, skip, and I'll say when to like you can listen now.
We'll give a thumbs up to come back.
Yeah. So what's interesting is you take Kaz and Pekka Rollins, right? In the end of the second book, Pekka Rollins gets to live. He gets like out of the city because Kaz is like, you get out now. I have your son. He's gonna die. So Pekka goes and finds out his son's alive and stuff. So they're staying in his country house and everything. And then he like leaves again. But here's the thing. Even though Kaz is like, I do not like Pekka Rollins. He's destroyed my life, my family, everything. The one who does die is Waylon's father.
Because he was, I think, truly the worst person in this book.
The worst one, yeah. That's how this like series is a huge switch up, I think, too. Because what you expect would be Waylon dying, of course. Or not Waylon dying, sorry, Pekka Rollins dying. But instead it's Rollins' dad who dies. And then Waylon ends up like succeeding him as like the family, head of the family and everything.
Which is so
also
good. That, yeah, oh, thumbs up, you can come back. But yeah. Oh, my opinion is like, who is the worst human being in this book? I think it's Waylon's father for those reasons.
It's Waylon's father.
It's debatable because there's quite a few terrible people in this book, but I think it's that one. That one for sure. And then with the other thing I found super interesting, because also this book, again, without ever like getting on a soapbox about it and being super hit you on the head with a hammer about it, the book also puts forth the idea that like mental illness and physical illness are equivalent. Like, one is not more significant, more severe, more important than the other, because it's talked about that Grisha, if they don't use their powers, get sick. And so they can't just like hide what they are and just go be normal. Like, they need to use their powers, or at least once in a while. And I guess, again, spoiler warning, because it was one of the reveals of book one. So this is for book one though, not book two. So in theory, if you're watching this, you probably read book one, but in case you haven't, character spoiler imminent. It's revealed that partway through, Jesper is a secret Grisha. He's a fabricator, which that reveal was sick, and that maybe it's part of why Waylon's like, ever thought maybe why you're such a good shot is, yes, obviously your mom taught you to shoot, you can aim a gun, you're a sharpshooter. But you ever thought maybe though you're also just like nudging your bullets with your ability? Like, there's a reason you can like close your eyes even and like hit the target kind of thing. And that's the way he's using his power to avoid getting too ill. But he doesn't do it a lot, and he purposely suppresses what he is. He tries to hide it. And then he's like, but I'm healthy as a horse. And Waylon goes, but are you though, basically? And like points out his addiction and his other ways, like his mental illnesses. Like, have you ever thought that maybe that's the manifesting of you suppressing your powers? It doesn't have to be physical illness. And so therefore the author is putting mental illness and physical illness as equivalent, which I think is super progressive, and especially for 10 years ago this book came out, and super important, because to help destigmatize mental illness, we have to put it on that same playing field. Like, you go to a doctor and get a physical checkup every year. I also firmly believe we should all, even if you think you're perfectly mentally healthy, you're neurotypical, we should all go to like one annual therapy session a year just for a mental health physical, just check in. Because even if you don't have a mental illness, you have times that are harder than others. You have times where your brain's going through a lot, and there's times where I'm sure you could benefit from some therapy. You don't need to have severe trauma or a diagnosed disorder. Oh, yeah. So I also love that part of the book immensely. I think that's it. I don't think any other characters, other than just PTSD, but I mean, every single person in this book almost has PTSD to some degree, but the most obvious are Kaz and then probably Inej are the two that have the most stereotypical, the way you would like think about it or see it in a movie or something, PTSD, with like flashbacks and like breakdowns basically in public. They do Kaz's so well, and it's so subtle over time that they reveal it to you. And his involves like physical contact, which it's part of why he wears gloves all the time. He can't touch anyone. And they reveal to you why he is the way he is over time, but it's done so well. Everything about this, like every character's story, the details of the heist, this author's strength is they are just so good at pacing and just at dripping in that information at the perfect, like it's almost like a consistent pace, which sometimes you might think is boring, but it's not. It's done so well that you're just constantly getting drip fed enough to keep you hooked the whole time, and like, it's so good.
To go back to how as I said, I'm playing video games during this too, because I got addicted to WoW recently. So there's that. So I'm still doing the same thing where I'll play, then I read and stuff. But there's some like times when I've been reading, and it'll pass 2 hours as I'm reading. Though, and I have the game up still. So it's just like, that goes to show that like how like hooking this book is. And everything is, you always think, oh, we're done with like this one reveal, here's another one, like it's a good, nice, it's flowed in, you know, it's not just like bam and then bam and then bam. It's like ebb and flow, really, I would say. So, and that's just like how much I have been enjoying reading this.
Yeah, like I was almost sad when I finished the second book. I was like, this is only a duology. I was like, can there be more? I'm glad there's not more, because like, as we said, our backlogs and books we need to read for various commitments are huge. But I also wish it would never end. And I
think I'm going to have this. Okay, so
so good.
I'm gonna have that with once I finish this duology. I'll have that same thought, because I've been having that thought with another author who indie published last year and I think the year before, but this year all traditionally published.
Ooh.
Ivy Ophelia. The first book that I read from her is The Poisoner. That came out last month, and then Fruit of the Flesh came out last year as well. Like,
you posted the picture of that one in the Discord. Yes, I know this one.
And Fruit of the Flesh is like a standalone, and I'm still working on my review because, like I said, I've been under the weather, so I've been sleeping a lot. But that as a standalone has made me go, I want more. These.
Yep.
But I'll get that from the Poisoner series, because the next book comes out in April and everything. So, but it's like it's always like heart-wrenching when you read a series and you always want more after like that one book or like the last book of this series.
Yep. And this one
will be like that too with the initial 3 books too, I think.
Yeah, this one, the way where the second book ends, like I said, to me, it was the perfect balance of everything that you need to have resolved just for the reader's like sanity and for the main like characters and the main themes of your book is resolved, but they also left so much like hope for the future and so many open ends of like where these characters are gonna go. Like, fan fiction writers probably had a fucking time. I'm sure there's incredible fan fiction for this universe of what these characters do after the duology. And it was such a good balance of bringing things to a close and then starting new threads for the readers to do within their mind what they will, and like what happens to some of these characters. Mostly for Kaz and Inej. Jesper, Wylan, Nina, Matthias, all are pretty clear. Like, you can see kind of like the trajectory of the rest of their life, where it's going. Kaz and Inej are the most open-ended, but probably for the best. But yeah. And I think my favorite line or favorite moment from book 1 will end here. Well, this is our last talking point before we wrap up. Amidst so many, because there were so many good ones, was when Kaz and Inej are having one of their rare moments of like trying to just like put everything out there, full disclosure, and not talk in symbolism and talk around things, and about their growing feelings towards each other they haven't been acting on, but they both are aware there, and regarding Kaz's inability to physically touch anyone, and clearly they both think that that is important for a relationship. That is something they both put weight on. Both of them have issues with touching and intimacy, Inej for her own reasons, Kaz for his own, but she still, despite that, basically tells him some equivalent of like, I will have all of you or none of you, and like if we are gonna be a thing, I want you without your armor, or something like that. And it was said so much better. I'm gonna see if I can find the exact quote, but I read it and I was like, ugh. It made if it wasn't a special edition, that would have been like highlighted, tabbed, like star. But it's a special edition with sprayed edges, so I didn't want to draw on it.
You know what's funny is I even with my physical books, I'll tab, but I don't write in them. I can't, because I'm like, what happens if I, decide to like give them away to friends and stuff.
To me, that idea makes me even more joy. The idea of if I do ever donate a book, give it away, and someone reads it, and they're reading like my notes as well, and just someone like, I wonder what they'll think about that. It's funny. Like I love, like, I'm still waiting for the day I want. And anyone watching this, if you know anyone in my IRL life, feel free to send them this clip, tell them, give them the secret to gift ideas. I am waiting for the day someone not only gives me a book as a gift, which is already great. You're winning at life if you give me a book as a gift, but a book that they have read and annotated. And they've taken the time to like write in the margins and annotate their thoughts, and then I get to read the book and like, oh, I would die. I want someone to do that for me. Oh yeah, so the line was, I will have you without armor, Kazbrecker, or I will not have you at all, is what she says to him. And I was just like, ugh, the yearning. I'm a sucker for a fucking good yearn, in a book.
I love yearning. Who doesn't love yearning though? Let's be real.
Yeah. Matthias also says some just fucking incredible things about Nina, while also hating her guts. They are the classic. See, they're a couple worthy of both the enemies to lovers trope and the grumpy sunshine trope. Because some people use tropes and they're like half-ass weak versions of these tropes. They are worthy of it. And one of the quotes, she laughed, and if he could have bottled the sound and gotten drunk on it every night, he would have, and it terrified him.
Yes. Well, there's
so
also,
good.
Other. Hold on, because I have a quote. Let me go to my Goodreads because I know that's where it's gonna show up.
While you're looking, also the author can do funny too, not just soulful yearning. Again, you mentioned the Driskelle and the culture that Matthias is from, and then being a little bit more backward. And so Matthias is talking about, I think, Nina and Inej and these badass women that he's now surrounded by. And he goes, it's not natural for women to fight. And then Nina fires back, it's not natural for someone to be as stupid as he is tall, and yet there you stand. I was like, let's fucking go. Got him.
Okay, here, I had to go. Okay. Hello. Thank you. Oh yeah, okay. I have it. So there's two. The one that I really like is, I loved your laugh, Nina, and your fears for your heart. I might have loved you too. Might have once before she had betrayed him. Those words carved an ache into her chest. She knew she shouldn't speak, but she couldn't help herself. And what did you do, Matthias? What did you do to me in your dreams? The ship listed gently. The lantern swayed. His eyes were blue fire. Everything, he said, as he turned to go. Everything. Like, that had me, like, crying a little bit. That one. And then I like the other one this other one too that I can't exactly remember where it comes out of. I think it's with where I'm at. When will I find it?
While you find it, I got two more, just Kaz
I
and
found it.
Inej.
I found it. It's another Nina and Matthias one. It's when I think this is their flashback kind of stuff. And Nina knows different languages, so she speaks in the tongues of the Driskelli, and like as they're like trying to survive after this shipwreck, and they're traveling through his homeland, you know, she's like, what are you gonna do when you get home and stuff? Like, what's your plan and everything? And she finds out because he goes, your people, your friends killed my family and everything. And the thing, she goes, it didn't seem right to argue or to apologize. So she said the first thing that popped into her head. I'm going to probably butcher this. I'm going to try my best. Neve Afra Twonvert, and it translates to, I have been made to protect you, only in death will I be kept from this oath, and stuff. And that had me like sobbing a little too.
Yep, that quotes this page too, the I have been made to protect you one. One where Nina is telling Inej, she's like, yo, Kaz likes you. She's, I can hear the change in Kaz's breathing when he looks at you. And she replies, you can? And she says, it catches every time like he's never seen you before. Just the idea of someone being so without that, like every time you see the person, it like re-hits them all over again. I was just like, oh, my heart.
I do think too, what I do like in this first book is you already know that Inej has feelings for Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa too. Like,
they just both think they're too broken to deserve it, and I'm just like, oh, it hurts so good.
You're never too broken to deserve love.
TLDR, the message of this book, you're never too broken to deserve love. Also, fuck authority. Those are the two messages of this book. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap it up here. A few quick announcements before we go. We're recording this in February. If you're watching it before the month is out, February, as we know, is Black History Month. So the book we are reading, we chose a list, all the books we are choosing for our Twitch Book Club Discord to read in February were all Black authors, and the book that got chosen is An Arcane Inheritance by Camila Cole. I believe I'm saying her name correctly. The standard edition of the book is gorgeous. It's got sprayed edges and everything. It's so pretty. But yes, if this is something that you would like to read, join the Discord, read it with us. If you're already reading it, or maybe looking for recommendation, there you go. It's described as Babel meets A Deadly Education. It's dark academia, which I'm very curious because Babel's one of my favorite books ever, and I hated A Deadly Education. So I'm either gonna love or hate this, and we're gonna find out which one.
I'm still working on Babel too.
I told one of my friends to read Babel, and she DNF'd it, and I'm like, I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Megan. I'm sorry.
I'm a huge mood reader too.
Yeah.
So when I get in the mood, I start reading like a lot of books.
Yep.
So
bounce back and forth. If you're watching this, I don't know how long this is going to be running for, because, you know, who knows how long things are going to be a shit show in a certain United States of America. But at the moment, we are raising money along with Team SideQuest for the National Immigration Law Center, the NILC, as they are known, one of the leading advocacy organizations in the States. They are dedicated to defending the rights and opportunities for immigrants and their families. They are providing legal support to people who are being terrorized by ICE right now, amongst other things. So I'll have the link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube. I don't know how long we're gonna be running this campaign for. It's an ongoing pop-up thing, but if you're popping into any of my streams, !charity for more info. Pull up our Tiltify campaign page. And I think that's it for announcements. In terms of this book, when we chat about it, it's looking like I was gonna try and see if we could squeeze in the last day of February, so it's still Black History Month. We talk about it, but most of us have so much to read. I don't think any of us are going to be able to finish it by then. So it's looking like we'll chat about this mid-March is probably when this is going to happen. Before you go, do you have any projects, anything you want to promote, Marjorie? Any websites, any books you just want to share?
So I'm Creative Desires on all my socials. And if you go to like my Twitch channel or anything, I always have a link tree and that has my other socials. I'm slowly getting back into streaming. I took a long break after TwitchCon, mainly because, as we discussed, how mental health is just important. I had a really big depression episode that happened because of stuff that happened last year with my mom, with her health and having emergency surgery and stuff. So I'm slowly kind of getting back into things, but I also am turning a bunch of my socials bookish stuff because I do love books. And that's something I've never hidden and everything. So I will be posting book reviews on my Instagram mainly. I have some arcs I'm going to be discussing as well that I've been reviewing. So stay tuned for those because I'll be discussing those there as well. So
hell yeah. And if you haven't already and want to join our book club Discord, link is in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, the link will be down below on the video. And thanks so much for hanging. I will be doing probably a second stream later today just because the new Overwatch season starts today. So I might see some of y'all this evening. If not, we'll catch you in the next book club stream or one of our other streams or social posts in general. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for joining me to chat about the book because I absolutely loved it and I need to talk about it with someone or I would have exploded.
I know. Oh man, when I was like that with the with Ivy Affilia's books, both The Poisoner and Fruit of the Flesh.
Yep.
And I'm still working on my Fruit of the Flesh review. I actually think I'm going to be rereading it too.
Nice.
Ironically enough.
High praise for the book.
I just love it. Well, so I will say this. If you love gothic romance and dark romance, Ivy Ophelia, 100%. And yeah, if you don't like dark romance, because let me put it this way, a lot of dark and gothic romances have very much triggering like things in them at times.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to spice too, but also like things that usually we see happen in these kind of books.
Yeah.
I would suggest not reading them. But I honestly feel like when you say dark and gothic romance, you should know what typically in terms that spice has in those books. So just putting it that way. But highly recommend both The Poisoner and Fruit of the Flesh.
Have to put those on the list. All right, we'll catch you next
They're both on
time,
Kindle
everybody.
Unlimited.
Oh hell yeah, we love us some Kindle Unlimited. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging. Bye.
Bye.